Now that I have mentally recovered from the Vikings' heartbreaking loss on Monday night, it is time for my Week 2 NFL Power Rankings. Before we get into today's video, I'd like to give a shout out to Thrive Fantasy for sponsoring this video. Be sure to check them out at the link in my description or use promo code NMR when you make your first deposit. $10 gets you over $60 worth of money to bet with. You'll also get some free contest entries to enter into their daily fantasy contest. You can win up to like $30,000 in one if you place in first place. Be sure to use that promo code and get a 100% deposit match on your first deposit as well. Why don't you like free money? Go sign up at Thrive Fantasy, link in my description. Without further ado, let's get into my Week 2 power rankings. All right, starting it off at number 32, we've got the Atlanta Falcons. I think it's pretty clear-cut that they are the worst team in the NFL right now. It's a bummer. They just have a terrible roster. They don't have a good defense. They don't have a good offense. There's just not really much to be hopeful about over there. Next up, the Carolina Panthers. Baker Mayfield at quarterback. You're just not really going to do so well. They're honestly considering switching to Sam Darnold already, and they drafted that other guy whose name I can't remember, but really not a lot to be excited about over there in Carolina. DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson are still pretty good wide receivers, but the defense is really not that good, and the offense is just putrid right now. They just don't have a quarterback. If they had a good quarterback, maybe they could be an okay team. They could be mid. They could be, you know, borderline. No, I don't know. I don't think they could be borderline wild card anyways, but still, just not a good team right now. Carolina Panthers at 31. Just above them, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 30. That offense is putrid with Mitch Trubisky at quarterback. You're kind of sensing a theme here with all these guys using backup caliber quarterbacks at their starting position. And the defense is good. It's just not good enough to compete with how bad their offense is. You know, you got to score points to win football games. Unless their defense puts up 20 to 30 points like they did against the Bengals, I don't see the Steelers winning a lot of games. Just above the Steelers, we got the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans, man, I've been hopeful about them. I do like Davis Mills at quarterback, but just a tough loss to a terrible Broncos team, and there's just too many holes on this roster. If they had a better roster, I do think Davis Mills could be a playoff caliber quarterback. I don't really think he's like carrying him to a Super Bowl anytime soon, but right now the Texans have too bad of a roster. We got them at number 29. Just above them, we got the Denver Broncos, who narrowly beat the Houston Texans last week. Russell Wilson, man, I don't know what's going on. You've seen all the memes, let Russell Wilson cook, and it's like him making a Lunchable, or him like burning some cookies or something. Russell Wilson's just not doing well. He's having a terrible start to the year. He has good weapons. The O-line's decent. The whole team, they're just not putting up points. I don't know what the issue is. I thought the issue last year was their quarterback. I thought Teddy Bridgewater wasn't good enough to carry them. I thought Drew Lock wasn't good enough to carry them. But now Russell Wilson looks terrible with this good Broncos offense. So we'll see what happens. But until they start putting up more points, I can't have them in a discussion as a playoff team in the AFC. And then just above them at number 27, we got the Seattle Seahawks, who beat the Broncos in week 1. So I got to have them above them. Not a great team. Definitely not a good team. But, you know, they're okay. They're okay. As far as the bad teams go, they're above, you know, the worst of the worst. They're not the worst team in the NFL, which is honestly all that Seahawks fans could really hope for this year with how bad their roster looked on paper. But they're okay. You know, they didn't score a lot of points against the Niners, but the Niners have a good defense. So I think if they play bad teams, I think the Seahawks will beat most of the bad teams they play. All right, next up at 26, we got the Chicago Bears. I've been very vocal that I have faith in Justin Fields to be a good quarterback. The rest of the roster just isn't that great, though. The defense is okay, but, you know, they had I wouldn't say a heartbreaking, but they had a loss to the Green Bay Packers in week 2 after they beat the Niners in week 1. So I think they're an okay team. You know, I don't think they're the worst team in the NFL like a lot of people had them at, but, you know, definitely not a playoff caliber roster. Just above them, the New York Jets, a nice little victory, the craziest ending to a game I've seen all season easily. They beat the Broncos after an onside kick and all this other stuff went their way. They're okay. I think when Zach Wilson gets back, they will be a better team, but for right now, they're just okay. They're just okay. That's what I got. Next up, we got the other New York team, the New York Giants. I've been very impressed with the Giants defense so far. I don't think they've played any, you know, top tier offenses, but realistically, that defense has been very, very solid. It'll be interesting to see when they play a good offense to see if they can hold up. The only problem I see with the Giants is that they can't score any points. I don't know. Saquon Barkley is a great running back. We know this. Outside of that, their receivers are bad. Their quarterback's bad. They just really don't have much going for them offensively. However, that defense looks solid. I think if they had an elite offense, this could be a playoff caliber defense. Let me just say that. Just above them, we got the New England Patriots. I have not been high on the Patriots this season. I had them at 27 last week, but I did have to put them up after they beat up on the Steelers. They only beat the Steelers by 3 points, though, so I'm really looking for a larger margin of victory over bad teams like the Steelers and the Panthers and the Falcons. So I'm still not high on the Patriots, but I got them up at 23. Down at 2022, man, the Indianapolis Colts. What the hell is going on over there? I know they're injured. I know they're banged up, but holy crap, they got steamrolled by the Jags. I'm not saying the Jags are a terrible team, but they got steamrolled. Holy crap, dude. The Colts look terrible. Jonathan Taylor didn't get going. Matt Ryan couldn't do anything without Michael Pittman out there. I don't know. Maybe when they're healthy, they'll still be good enough, but nobody wants to win the AFC South right now. Honestly, I think the Jaguars look like the best team in the AFC South at this very moment. But my God, dude, the Colts, what the hell was that in week 2? Good God. Just above them, we got the Washington Commanders. They're okay. They're okay. I think Carson Wentz is mid. He is mid. He is Kirk Cousins tier. He is an average quarterback. He's not that terrible, even though he looked terrible last year in week 18 or whatever against the Jaguars. I think he's okay. I think the Washington Commanders are an all right team, but the Eagles are absolutely running the NFC East this year, and I don't think the Commanders really have a shot. However, I do think they are an okay team. They're average. They're slightly below 500 or slightly above 500 team. All right, now it's time to talk about one of the biggest jumpers in this week's power rankings, the Jacksonville Jaguars, man. Give them a round of applause. They look good. They look good. Christian Kirk has kind of been that dude so far through 2 weeks. Hopefully he can make, honestly, he's playing up to his salary right now. Everyone said he got overpaid in the offseason, but Christian Kirk looks good. Trevor Lawrence looks pretty good. I'm still waiting for Travis Etienne to get off the ground, but once he does, man, James Robinson's looked good in his place anyways. So I think they got something good going offensively there in Jacksonville. The defense looked better against a banged-up Colts team this week, but we'll have to see what happens. I do like them. I think they're an okay team, and it's really between, I don't know, them, the Titans, and the Colts. Somebody has got to win this division. I don't know who it's going to be. It's not going to be the Texans, I can tell you that much. But outside of that, any of these 3 teams could win the NFC or the AFC South, and I wouldn't be surprised. Hopefully it's the Jaguars. I like seeing teams that haven't been good in a while finally take that next step forward, and I feel like this is the year that the Jags are starting to take that next step forward. Just above them, we got the Detroit Lions. Speaking of bad teams taking steps forward, man, that offense looks legit. That offense looks legit. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a legitimate wide receiver 1. He is a fantasy god, first of all. He put up like 40 points last week. And Jared Goff is serviceable. He's serviceable. He's in that Carson Wentz, Kirk Cousins tier. He's mid. And that's honestly all they need with the weapons they've got right now. DeAndre Swift looks great. Jamal Williams is a good backup running back as well. I really like what they got going offensively, and the defense isn't bad. The defensive line looks fantastic, and their corners are all right. So we'll see what happens with the Detroit Lions. I'm very excited for their matchup with my Vikings this week. Honestly, I think they have a chance to win that game, and if they do, they will absolutely skyrocket up my power rankings, and the Vikings, unfortunately, will fall very far down. Just above the Lions, we got the Cleveland Browns. My God, dude, what a heartbreaking loss against the Jets this week. Don't really have much more to say about this team. We know their defense is strong. We know they're waiting for Deshaun Watson to come back from suspension. Until then, I don't really know what else to say. It was nice seeing Amari Cooper go off last week, though. So Amari Cooper's still that guy, and Nick Chubb is still that guy as well, which we all know. So good roster, bad quarterback right now, and the secondary looked pretty bad at the end of that game. So we'll see what happens. The Dallas Cowboys with Cooper Rush did not look as bad as I expected. They beat the Bengals. It took a little while to get there, but they beat the Bengals, the pretty much full healthy Bengals. So it was good to see that. Cooper Rush is a good backup quarterback in my opinion. He stomped on my Vikings last year, so gotta respect the Rush. And hopefully when Dak Prescott gets back, they will be in a spot to contend for a playoff spot. I don't think they have any shot at the NFC East with how good the Eagles look, but definitely could be a wild card team this year for sure. Just above them, we've got the Titans. The Titans, they're okay. They're okay. I don't know. That's all I got. They got stomped on by the Bills, and they lost to the Giants, but I'm still not worried about them yet. I do think they are one of the most overrated teams in the NFL coming into this season. Derrick Henry has got to get going one of these days. We'll see what happens, but as a whole, I don't love their team. They got rid of A.J. Brown, and I don't know what to think of them right now. I still have them as the best team in the AFC because they haven't disappointed me like the Colts have, and they're not as bad of a roster as the Jags are on paper. So I still have them up at 16, but one more bad loss. If they go to 0-3, I'm going to drop them very far down, probably into Colts territory down at 22. Okay, next up, we got the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are worse than I thought they would be. Very bad loss to the Cardinals. They had the lead in pretty much the entire game and then lost it at the very last second. They're okay. They're still an okay team. I don't know what else to say, really. I'm not super high on them. I do think they are solidly the third best team in the AFC West right now. They're not as bad as the Broncos, but they're not in the same league as the Chargers or the Chiefs at the moment. I don't see them as a playoff team this year. They have a lot of weapons, but I don't know. They just haven't been able to do anything with it. They really got to start putting teams away. I want to see them put up 30-plus in a game. I want to see them blow out a team, but I don't really see that happening right now, and they're really susceptible late in the games. That defense is kind of crumbling, so we'll see. Just above them, I got the Cincinnati Bengals. I haven't dropped them that far yet. I had them, I think, in the top 6 or something to start the year, but I'm slowly starting to drop them with how bad they've been playing. It did take them a while to come back last year and start playing at that Super Bowl caliber team, so I'm not super worried yet. I think Joe Burrow just takes a few games to get going. I feel like these first 2 weeks have been kind of like extra preseason for their starting offense. Jamar Chase didn't have a good game though, so that was a little bit unfortunate. But, T. Higgins went off. I really think the Bengals are going to be okay. I just don't know if they end up winning the AFC North this year. Next up at 13, we've got the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints, I don't hate their roster. I just think that Jameis Winston's not that guy. If Jameis Winston is going up against a good defense like the Bucs have, it's just not going to go well for the Saints. I think they can torch some bad defenses for sure, especially a bad secondary, but outside of that, I really don't have a lot of faith in the Saints team. I do like what they have going on defense, but they really need a quarterback that's going to be able to steer them in the right direction, and I don't think Jameis Winston is that dude, but you never know. Jameis Winston has flashes of being an elite quarterback every once in a while. He'll go off for 500, 600 yards in one game, but outside of that, I'm not really sure what his ceiling is for this team. Just above them, we got a team with a quarterback change, and that is the San Francisco 49ers. I've been pretty vocal about not liking Trey Lance, and while the circumstances of him leaving are not the best, unfortunately left with an ankle injury that's going to require season-ending surgery, Jimmy Garoppolo, I think, is the best case scenario for them right now. I think Trey Lance still needs some time to develop, and with how good their roster is, how good, potentially Super Bowl caliber roster, I really want a solid, mid-tier quarterback at least driving this team, and I think Jimmy Garoppolo fits that bill. Just above them, we got the Arizona Cardinals. Big late-game comeback there with Kyler Murray. I've been pretty vocal about not liking Kyler Murray, but my God, he looked fantastic late in that game against the Raiders. So I got the Cardinals up at 11. They always like to start hot, so they're 1-1 now. Let's see if they can go on a run. Okay, and we've reached the top 10, starting off with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I did drop them down a little bit because I would have liked to see them put up a couple more points against the Saints, but my God, that defense looks top tier, probably top 5 in the NFL right now. And the offense is okay, but Tom Brady's starting to show signs of aging. He has not looked like Tom Brady that we've seen over the last 20 years or whatever. And without Mike Evans, without Julio Jones was out last week, without Chris Godwin, when they're injured like they are right now, they don't look nearly as good. So if Tom Brady has all his weapons, I'm not worried about them. But with the state of their offense at the moment, I'm a little bit worried about them. Just above them, we've got the Green Bay Packers. They look to bounce back against the Bears. We all know Aaron Rodgers is the Bears' father. He absolutely owns the Bears. But I still got the Vikings slightly above them after their rough loss to the Eagles. The Eagles are the best team in the NFC. They've proven it. They put up 30-plus against the Lions, who I think have a good defense. And then they absolutely shut down the Vikings offense, which looked pretty damn good in week 1 against the Packers. So I have a lot of faith in the Eagles. I'm not really going to hurt the Vikings that much. However, their offense was putrid. Kirk Cousins looked terrible. Justin Jefferson got absolutely silenced by Darius Slay. And the rest of the offense wasn't doing anything. Bad drop by Irv Smith. It was a rough game, but I still got the Vikings in the top 10. One more bad loss. Like I said, if they lose to the Lions, I'm going to have to drop them out of the top 10 for sure. Just above them, we've got the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens were cruising early on Sunday. But my God, dude, the defense just shut down. I was ready to put the Ravens in the top 3. I really was. But then that defense just absolutely fell apart late in the game. And yeah, you gotta lock it down. If you're up by 20 plus points, you gotta lock it down, and the Ravens weren't able to do that. Love their offense, top 5 offense in the NFL right now. Lamar Jackson is that dude. He's on an MVP trajectory early. Love Mark Andrews. Love what they got going on with the receiving core. But right now, I got the Ravens outside of the top 5 due to their defense. Next up, we got the Miami Dolphins. Holy shit, Miami. Good God. Tua, Tyreek, Jalen freaking Waddle, are you kidding me? Oh my God, dude. The Dolphins looked fantastic. It's fantastic in the second half of that game on Sunday. Just a ridiculous comeback against the Ravens. I thought they were cooked early. I was ready to put the Dolphins way down, but my God, that offense is looking fantastic. Tua did turn the ball over a couple of times, but right now I really like what the Dolphins have going. Tyreek and Jalen Waddle is an elite duo. That duo is elite. The speed is absolutely killer. I don't know if anybody in the league can guard those two. They're just going to have to play, like, prevent defense the entire game. I don't know what they're going to have to do to stop this Dolphins offense, but we'll see what happens. Their defense is really the only thing that I have that's questionable on this team, and they got a pretty solid defense, in my opinion, as well, even though they did get torched by Lamar Jackson last week. Just above the Dolphins, we've got the LA Rams. They did what they're supposed to do against bad teams, and they absolutely mollywopped the Atlanta Falcons. So that's what I wanted to see. They got plenty of weapons on offense. The O-line looked a little bit better, and then their defense, I think, is solid, but it was against a bad offense. So we'll see what happens when they go up against another good team like the Bills, like they did in Week 1. Just above them, we've got the San Diego Chargers, the LA Chargers. I know they're called the LA Chargers now, but I always think San Diego when I think that logo. I took them out of the top 3 after their loss to the Chiefs, not because they were bad, but just because of the team in the top 3. We all saw how good they were. Right now, I got the Chargers, easily a contender for the Super Bowl. But the 3 teams I have above them, I would give them a slightly better shot at winning the Super Bowl. I don't know if the Chargers are quite there yet. All right, at number 3, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles. In my opinion, the clear-cut favorite in the NFC at this point. The offense looks great. The defense looks fantastic. Oh my God, did they shut down my Vikings. They just look elite right now. I don't know if there's any team in the NFC that comes close to them at this point. The Packers are kind of there, I guess, but outside of that, man, the Vikings clearly showed they weren't in the same league as the Eagles on Monday night. So I got the Eagles as the clear-cut best team in the NFC at this point. Just above them, the Kansas City Chiefs. I think it's between them and the Bills who has the best offense in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes is still, in my opinion, the best quarterback in the NFL. It's between him and Josh Allen for sure. It's really 1A and 1B right here. Both these teams are elite. I did give the edge to Buffalo at number 1 though, because I think the Bills have a better defense at this point. But my God, dude, both of these offenses, they should be averaging 40 points a game right now. I don't know who's going to stop them. It would take the best defense in the NFL, and I still think they'd put up close to 30. So, easily top 1, 2, 3 right here. I feel very confident in this top 3. Let me know if you disagree with my picks or agree. Did I get your team right? Let me know in the comments. Did I have them too high? Did I have them too low? Don't forget to leave a like on this video for more NFL fans to see it, and subscribe for more daily sports content. Check out Thrive Fantasy at the link in my description, and I will see you all on Sunday for our next NFL live stream. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and thanks again so much for watching.